Greetings, beloveds. Welcome to my channel, Natural Crowning. I am so happy. I'm so happy and humbled to announce the birth of our beautiful, healthy girl, baby Empress. It's been 3 weeks since I gave birth, and we're just so overjoyed and filled with so much gratitude to God for His tremendous blessing. This has been such a wonderful experience. It was amazing. My labor and delivery was actually miraculous. Backstory: I was born on Thanksgiving, and the guest date for Empress was December 8th. However, I told everyone that she's coming early. I told my husband, my doulas, my yoga instructors that she wants to come early. And then on Thanksgiving, I went into early labor. So we rushed to the hospital. I was completely thinned out, but I was only 1 centimeter. So the midwife sent me home, and I went to a midwife team versus the traditional doctors. So she sent me home, and just from my Lamaze classes and my yoga classes, I learned when you go into labor, you move. You want to get your adrenaline going. You want to stay hydrated. So when I came home, we walked. I did yoga. I prayed. I moved around, and then I slept. And then later that evening, around 10:30, my baby woke me up. It was such a strong urge and push. And so I woke up out of my sleep, and I knew it was time. So we rushed back to the hospital. We arrived at the hospital around 11 p.m. And I was only 3 centimeters, and they weren't going to admit me. But then my water broke, and so they decided to admit me. And around this time, there was a little controversy. They wanted to keep me bedridden. They wanted to give me IVs, but my husband fought them. He didn't want me bedridden. He wanted me to move. He encouraged me to do yoga. He gave me coconut water, and the contractions were very painful. And I didn't really like the direction it was going with the midwife and the nurse, and I'll get into that a little bit later in another video. So I cried out to God because the contractions were painful. I wasn't sure if the midwife and the nurse, if they were being supportive or if they were just being overly cautious. So I cried out to God, and then I surrendered. And then I surrendered completely, and the spirit just overtook me, and I was at peace. And then once they decided to admit me, I was at 3 centimeters. My husband called the doulas, and then 30 minutes. It was the time frame was 30 minutes of when they decided to admit me and transfer me from the observation room to labor and delivery. Now at this point, they didn't know I was pushing. I felt this real strong urge, another strong urge. So I was really pushing during the transfer to labor and delivery room. Once we got into the delivery room, the midwife checked me, and I was at 10 centimeters. So miraculously, I went from 3 to 10 in 30 minutes, and she said it was time. And so I started pushing even more. My husband, he was managing the midwife and the nurses and the rest of the people in the room, because they wanted to give me IVs, but it really wasn't any time. It wasn't any time for IVs, for pain medication, for antibiotics, not even for ibuprofen. And originally we planned to have a water birth, but there wasn't any time for that, to set up the tub. And so my husband, he really proved to be a leader. And then I heard him push, and I was pushing. And then my doulas came, and I heard them saying, "You're a superstar," and they were encouraging me to push. And I just really completely surrendered. I don't even remember the pain of the actual delivery. It was such a joyous occasion. I remember the pain of the contractions, but I gave a few more pushes, and then I felt my baby just come outside of my body. It was such a over joyous, heartwarming experience. And then after they cut the umbilical cord, they put her on my chest for skin-to-skin contact. And then this was the most heartwarming moment of my life. She reached out and touched my cheek and was comforting me. My baby Empress just reached out and was comforting me. And my doula, one of my doulas took a picture, and it was like, "Oh, she's just the most snugglest baby we've ever seen, and she's so beautiful." And that moment is just so heartwarming. And so I've been inspired to produce a series of videos to help other women on their journey, whether you want to have a natural unmedicated birth as I did, or a water birth if you want to have a birth with medication. My goal is just to empower you to have the birth that you desire. I'm going to have videos on breastfeeding, how to make the experience more joyful and less painful. I have some tips. I'm going to talk about my healthy exercise and yoga routine, and just share my breathing techniques. And I'm also going to talk about postpartum preparation. You know, there's so much emphasis on the mother and the baby, and that's fine, but I don't think there's as much emphasis on postpartum preparation and what you should do during the postpartum period. And I feel like that's why a lot of women are falling into postpartum depression or the baby blues, because they didn't prepare. So I'm going to release a series of videos on various topics, on doulas, on what defining a doula, which is a birth assistant, and my experience with the doulas. And so the videos are going to be very informative. And so I just invite you to share this video and the rest of my videos with your family and friends, and then also share in my comment box if you know, if you had a delivery, if you're planning on having delivery, if you're pregnant, if you have any questions, if there's certain topics that you want me to produce a video on, just let me know, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. So like this video, subscribe to my channel so we can stay connected, and I will see you real soon. Remember, be loving, be kind, be empowered.